My parents brewed their very first batch of beer, and we documented the entire process of it, from unboxing the brewing kit that we got them to tasting the final beer. They did a great job. They made a delicious beer, and they also asked a lot of questions along the way. So I hope that this video will be useful to you. This includes everything you need to know if you are trying to brew a batch of beer for the first time and are using a brewing kit. Are we ready? All right, welcome back everyone. I'm Robin from This Blog's Neat, and I'm here with my family.
My name is Ann. I am Robin's mother.
I'm Brian. I am Robin's father. And I've been on before.
Happy holidays. What did you guys get under the Christmas tree this year?
We're gonna make beer.
We got a beer brewing kit. So today we're gonna make beer.
Craft beer kit. Premium craft brew kits. Established in 2010. Okay, we're gonna start with the unboxing, the opening up. Let's see. Pour yourself a cold one and tell us what you think. Okay.
Ooh.
Whoa. All right. So we take this away. We don't know what we're doing. Oh, there's a big thing here. This is a tube.
Yep.
This must be hops. You think?
Open the bag, see what's
See
inside.
that what that is? We have a funnel.
Okay.
We have a thing. What is this? We don't know what this is. This is a thermometer.
Thermometer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's a thermometer. And we have, this must be something to seal things up. I'm not sure. There's a clamp here.
An airlock.
All right. Whatever these things are. This looks like a siphon.
That's
or
for
something.
bottling.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for siphoning and bottling, and then it comes with an airlock.
And then this here is a 1 gallon
Jug.
Cardboard.
And it's got the hops on it.
Oh, cool.
All right.
What's in there,
nice.
Dad?
But in here, we have what appear to be
Flip it over.
Oh.
Bryce Pilsner Light Dried Malt Extract.
Okay.
And we also have
Those are hops.
hops. Those are hops.
Yep, those are hops.
Are you sure?
No,
Or they might be,
that's the grain.
that's the grain. Is
It's
it
not
the grain?
hops. This is the sanitizer kit, right?
What's wrapped around it?
We don't
It's
know.
a little
Thing.
For the,
gauze pad.
Oh, this might be to filter or something?
that's for the,
Like
to put the,
cheesecloth
that's to
almost.
put the grains in, the specialty grains.
Okay, we have fresh yeast.
Ooh.
Does it say,
Premium beer yeast, standard ale.
Okay.
And then we have a sanitizer, half a packet per gallon of water, save half for the bottling.
Because I read you have to sanitize everything.
yep.
Okay, and then this
Make sure the
is-
yeast doesn't get any other bacteria in there.
This is a nice bag too. Look at this bag.
And this here is
Any kinds?
bittering, pearl bittering.
Name is Pearl.
That's the type of hops.
Okay.
Is that a hop?
Yeah.
That's a hop.
And
And here we have Cascade Aroma, which is, I assume, another hop.
okay.
That's what we have.
So there's our things inside our ingredients or whatever we want to call them.
Let's get started.
Okay.
Yep, let's get started. I think we fill that up with water, right?
Well, it also luckily comes with,
Instructions.
yeah.
So let's guide to craft brewing. A no-nonsense guide to brewing your own beer. Okay.
Well, don't bore everybody.
No.
Yeah, skip.
You know, you just
Craft
want to.
brewing. Wait.
What's
They
the first
also
step?
have, there's a QR code too, so you can watch videos
Right, on the first
in the
page.
front.
Okay, include proper sanitation. Okay, yeast is the only organism you want touching your beer. So first we need to all wash our hands, right?
No, we're sanitizing the stuff.
But I think we have to have clean hands. Pour as close to a gallon of water in your stock pot as you can, but leave at least a few inches of room to prevent boilovers. Place your specialty grains in the grain steeping cheesecloth bag and tie off the top in a knot.
You could put that on the back of your pickup.
Oh my gosh. Wait until your pot of water reaches 155 degrees Fahrenheit.
I'm still at 160.
Right now we're at 158.
And then steep the grains in the water for 20 minutes while closely maintaining the temperature.
Great steeping. It should just taste like a lightly sweet. What do you think?
Not much taste.
Mm-hmm.
Not that hot.
It's a little bit, yeah, it's like kind of almost like a not oat, but like a, what am I thinking of? Like almost like farro. Yeah, a little bit, but very light, not, because farro's got a very nutty taste to it. This has got like a light, yeah.
Is it sweet? Like oats?
Yeah, but a
Sweet.
little sweet.
Yeah, a little bit. Remove and discard the grains, making sure not to squeeze the excess water from the grains. This will release unwanted tannins. Next, bring your wort, which is your unfermented beer, up to a boil. Once you see the first boiling bubble, take your brew pot off the burner.
I've seen bubbles.
Yeah, we've seen bubbles, so we're gonna.
And that's,
So we're moving it over here.
Yeah.
and then take out your dry malt extract and slowly stir it into the pot, making sure it does not clump or stick to the bottom. Once all of the malt extract is completely dissolved, return the pot to the burner and turn up the heat to medium-high to achieve a gentle rolling boil.
Okay.
So what's next?
We bring it to a boil, don't
Yep.
we? And we put a hop in. Robin, can I taste it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Even at this point?
Yep.
Oh, I like that.
What's it taste like?
It's very sweet. And
Okay. Oh, it is sweet. This is, it almost tastes like cream corn.
Ooh.
Once a slow rolling boil has begun, add in your bittering hops and start a timer for a 60-minute boil.
Which ones are the bittering hops?
Pearl.
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 Take a smell?
Oh, I don't know if I like those. They're very sour smelling. They smell like, almost like dill pickles.
I like it.
I mean, I like dill pickles, but
When you add them early, they'll
so they are
they
bitter.
kinda-
They are, okay.
they're bitter and they'll dissipate. But
Okay.
Do you know when we add in the next
At
hops?
the end, 2 minutes left in the boil. The aroma hops are two. We don't have flavor hops. Flavor hops would be added 15 minutes left in the boil. The aroma hops are the ones we have in this kit, and they're added at 2 minutes left to the boil.
Well, it looks like it's getting bigger than a rolling boil.
So which ones?
The pearl, which is our bittering,
Okay.
and we just kind of, right?
yeah.
Float it in there. There's not that much, so.
I'll set a timer.
Set a timer for?
60 minutes.
60 minutes.
60 minutes.
Actually 58, because 2 minutes before it stops, we gotta put the other hops in, don't we?
Brilliant. 58 minutes.
58 minutes.
There. Jerry, do you want the bread to?
Do you stir that, or does it?
I usually stir every 15 minutes.
Okay, so I should stir it now
Yeah, I
just
would
to
give
get,
it a stir.
I could see those hops in there, all right. What if we had like Citra hops and some other hop? How does?
Is that a flavor hop, Citra?
So then
It's either
when
that or a rum.
how does that change our?
It's a little hoppier.
It'll change.
directions?
It'll.
No, but we put one in early and the other in
Well,
late.
one is the bittering and the other one is the aroma. So whatever you have, these are just what they gave us. That's Cascade, and what was the other one? Pearl?
Pearl.
So the pearl is used for bittering and the cascade is used for the aroma.
The difference between bittering, flavoring, and aroma hops doesn't have to do with the hop variety necessarily. It has to do with when the hops are added in the boil. That's because various compounds will dissipate throughout the boil. So bittering hops are added in first because the aroma and flavor compounds are able to dissipate off during the boil, whereas flavoring hops are added in the middle because the aroma compounds are able to dissipate, but still leaving behind the flavoring compounds. And then the aroma hops are added at the very end because you want to hang on to those aroma compounds. Some hop varieties are better for aroma, flavor, bittering purposes, and typically higher alpha acid hops are used for bittering because alpha acids are the source of the bitter flavors.
There's even a thing if you really like hops that you bitter it while it's in the carboy.
That is called?
Dry hopping.
Yep.
And that's like, because it really sticks. When you put this in while it's boiling, it dissipates, a bit. But if you really like something hoppy, you put it in while it's sitting in there for weeks, and then it'll get it very hoppy.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So Dad, what are we doing now?
We're doing the sanitizing of the all of the equipment. To sanitize, mix half of the sanitizer packet with a gallon of water in a pitcher or bucket. Reserve the other half for bottling day. Soak equipment for 60 seconds in the mix. No need to rinse. Let equipment dry on fresh paper towels. 58 minutes passed.
And now what is it time for?
Now it's time for the aroma hops, which in this case are Cascade.
Let's see.
I'm gonna set the timer as soon as you throw it in.
So we're throwing it in.
And am I supposed to stir it or does
Sure,
it matter?
go ahead.
Aroma hops.
So while these 2 minutes are going, should we get the sink set up for cooling?
We should.
Yes, we should.
Cool.
What are we going to use for highballs tonight then? We used up all our ice.
So now we got to cool it down.
Okay, Robin, we've reached very close to the temperature that we need.
Okay.
Down
So
to
now
about
what?
75. So how about if we transfer this into our jug?
Transfer the wort into the sanitized carboy and do your best to leave any thick sludge in the pot. If you have a fine mesh strainer, you can pour your wort through it in order to filter out the sediment.
So does anyone want to narrate what's happening here?
Well, the people think it's easy to make beer, but it's not. Unless everyone would do it.
Well, you have to
So
be very
we're-
patient.
We're using a filter,
Yep.
which they didn't supply. Should they have supplied a filter, do you think?
Well, no, I think honestly you could have kept the sludgy bits in there, and there will be some sediment for sure that's in there. But we're trying to remove as much as we can. So we are scooping out
That flavor in there.
the sludgy.
Yeah, we don't want to
Sludgy
scoop
bits.
out the flavor, do we?
Oh, at this point you may notice that you've lost some volume to evaporation. If you don't have a full gallon after brewing, you need to add cool water to reach the 1 gallon fill line just above the letters printed on the jug.
Premium beer, yeast,
Standard.
standard ale.
Okay, all
That
right.
ought to wake 'em.
That'll wake them up.
Once topped off, cut open the yeast packet and add the entire contents into the carboy. This is called pitching the yeast. To make sure the yeast has oxygen to multiply, you need to aerate the wort. Shake vigorously for over a minute.
Harry, you forgot the music.
Robin will add that in.
Do you feel that it's properly aerated?
It sure looks like it is.
After aerating, dry the stopper and inside lip of the carboy with a paper towel to help it stay in place. Insert one end of the flexible tubing about ½ an inch into the rubber stopper hole and the other end into a half full glass of water. This is called a blow-off assembly, which keeps foam from overflowing. Fermentation should begin within 24 to 48 hours, and you'll start to see foaming and CO2 bubbles.
What'd you think of your first experience, at least mashing and pitching yeast?
I think it's pretty cool.
Me too.
Did you think it was easy, hard?
I think you got to pay attention to the directions.
You have to be very careful, and the importance of following it exactly.
And we also had help.
That's true.
Right, we had a chemist helping us, and a solar engineer.
Important.
You were really helpful.
Very helpful.
Okay, so we will check back, I suppose, when this is fermenting.
Yes, we will.
Cool.
I've seen a lot of people make beer. This is the best I've seen.
Okay, so here's our beer today. Today is, I would say about less than 24 hours since we started our process. So last night we started noticing a little bit of movement, little tiny little bubbles, things happening. And then this tube was all clear at the time going into this little bottle here. And then about, I don't know, 10 o'clock last night, which would have been how many hours? About 7 hours from the time we started. This thing was really bubbling. And then while we were outside, sitting outside, we came back in and this cork had actually popped off. So we had to replace the cork, and all this sediment is now in this tube. It's still got a lot of bubbling going, but it seems like it's quieting down a little tiny bit now. It's a pretty gross color, actually. I don't know what to say about that. Yeah, it kind of looks like swamp water right now.
It's been 48 hours now, and it's been fermenting, and it's done a marvelous job. And ready for the next step. It looks beautiful.
Well, how do you know it's ready for the next step?
Because it's 48 hours and it stopped bubbling and all of that stuff.
I think it's still bubbling a little bit, but it's stopped really
You can
aggressive.
hardly see it.
Yeah, really aggressively bubbling.
Right. Next step, number 13, after a few days, once foam and bubbling have calmed, which it has, you can replace the tubing with the airlock, which I believe is this.
Yep.
Well, it's not clogged up. It's just kind of,
Yeah.
it looks worse from the outside than it does from the inside. When you do so, we recommend rinsing the tubing right away to remove any sediment, since you will use it again on bottling day. Remove the airlock cap, add water to reach the fill line, which is up here. Place cap back on and gently insert the airlock into the stopper. And wait. Check it out in 12 days and see what we got.
Cool.
Then the bottling begins.
Yep.
As a first-time beer making guy, I have a couple of questions. Why are we putting water in the stopper? What is this designed to do?
So the airlock is designed to allow the CO2 to be released. So if this was a little bit more active, you'd see it bubbling up through the water, but it also provides as a barrier to not let bugs in.
That's all I need.
Do you want to know why you had the tubing versus the airlock?
My guess is because there would be too much pressure and it would blow the top.
Yeah, because fermentation was really aggressive, as we saw it did blow the top, that we needed the blow-off tube set up first to allow for that really active fermentation to go without having too much of a mess. Whereas if the airlock was in place, it would definitely have blown off multiple times.
Now, I spoke to my friend Bruce Jones, who I asked him, I said, Bruce, our thing blew off. And he said, that's not unusual. Is he correct?
He is correct. He would know. He's a good home
He makes
brewer.
a lot of beer.
Yeah. Some indications that fermentation are slowing are the very few bubbles that are being produced. The airlock has not been very active. That's an indication that fermentation is slowing. And you're starting to get some sediment down here.
Here's my question.
Okay.
I see a bunch of stuff on the bottom, the
Yep.
sludge. However, I also see a bunch of sludge on the top.
Yeah.
Well, is this stuff different than this stuff?
Some of it.
Okay.
Because look, like we clearly have two different things settling down here. But we do have at the very, very bottom is the green sludge. Now, remember when we first started this?
Yes.
What did it look like? Did it have sludge on the top and the bottom, or just the bottom? Like very, very first, there wasn't active fermentation.
I don't remember.
There was just sludge at the bottom. It was the sediment from our mashing, which was mostly the hops.
Oh,
Then,
so the bubbles have brought this stuff up.
exactly. So the bubbles being produced by the yeast during very active fermentation just brought up some of the sediment. That in brewing is called, I taught you this word already, rhymes with poison.
I forget.
Croison.
Croison.
Yep. So the sediment that floats to the top and forms almost a cake is called croison. That doesn't mean that there's not already sediment at the bottom too. There might be sediment at the bottom, like there was in our case. There was sediment at the top and the bottom. Now the sediment that's right there right now is just stuck to the glass.
Right. Right.
If it was still floating on the surface, it would have fallen back down because fermentation has slowed.
Gotcha.
All right, give me the update.
We are on day 8 of fermentation. And we still see ever so slight bubbles. So we were going to check it with the hydrometer to see if it was 0.000. Then we could bottle it. But it looks like there's still a little bit of activity, so we're not going to do it until probably the 14 days are up.
When it came time to bottle, my parents were on their own. I was no longer in Florida. So they not only had to do the bottling themselves, but I also requested that they document everything. Now, getting the hang of siphoning your beer into bottles and trying to avoid introducing any sediment to those bottles can be really challenging if it's your first time. It takes a lot of practice. So they have me on FaceTime to help guide them through it a little bit.
Okay, it's day 15 and we are ready to bottle. And take a look at our beer. Looks like the bubbling has completely stopped. So we're going to give you an update on what we're doing. Number one, we're sanitizing everything, including the bottles and everything else that we're going to need. And Ann, could you come over here and tell us what you're doing on the stove?
Yes.
Hold on.
Okay, so right now I took a cup and a half of water, put it in a clean pot, and I put 2 even tablespoons of sugar, and I am now boiling it for 5 minutes.
And why are we doing that?
So that whatever's left in the yeast, left of the yeast, will be activated for the last, they'll chew that up or whatever.
It's for carbonation of the beer, as I understand it. So we're letting that boil, then we're going to let it cool down, and everything's being sanitized, so we will pick up in a minute. Okay, I just took the stopper out of the top. Let's get a smell of this stuff. Ooh, I think we got a nice batch here. It's time to siphon this out into our sugar water solution, which we have let cool down. So I'm going to do my best not to get any of the gunk on there. Putting it down into the beer. Then I'm going to create the suction.
Here comes the beer.
It tasted pretty good, actually.
Did it? Here it comes, Robin.
Make sure we don't get any of the stuff from the bottom. But I want to keep it in the liquid.
Smells good.
I want to tilt this a little.
Gently. Yeah. You're getting near the bottom. So.
Oh.
Air.
All right, I want to get the rest of that though.
Robin, we have air.
Yep, so you just start the siphon over again. Make sure the black part's under the liquid.
Yep. Am I too nervous about getting it down into the gunk?
The black part will help prevent
Okay.
the gunk from going in. So it
All
will
right.
be helpful.
So-
don't be too nervous about it. If there's
Okay,
a
there
little
you go.
gunk, just stop
Yeah,
the
you got a
siphon.
little gunk going there, so just
Okay, ready?
just stop it if she said.
If there's a little sediment, it's no big deal.
I don't know, he lost the suction.
I don't know, Robin. I think we made enough beer. I don't want to get in and get the rest of that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're gonna leave it as is because it looks a little cloudy.
We're about to do the bottling. We put the beer solution in the canister here, and we're going to siphon that down into the bottles.
As my parents were bottling, the phone that they were using to record their bottling died or ran out of storage space. Anyways, so I just decided to screen record as we were FaceTiming. My dad filled each of the bottles up, leaving a few inches of headspace. He made any necessary adjustments if they were uneven at all, just to kind of keep the level of the beer in each bottle relatively consistent. I chose 12-ounce swing top bottles so that they didn't have to deal with also getting a capper and learning how to cap the bottles. I would highly recommend this. It's very straightforward. In total, they got 9 bottles of beer. And once everything was bottled and capped, they let it sit on the counter at room temperature for 2 weeks so that the beer could carbonate.
Here we are, trying our beer that we just made in the last 2 weeks. All right.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Ready?
Ooh, that's pretty good.
That's really good.
Wow. Yeah, good for
That's
me.
really good.
That's really good.
What do you think?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I like it.
You
I
like
really
it?
Like
Oh my God, it's delicious.
Yeah, it's very good. The color's good. It smells great. And it has a nice taste to it. Yes. I really like it.
Wow.
Awesome
Great.
job. Wonderful.
That's the first beer we ever made.
Wonderful.
Right, this is great.
Oh, it
It's
came out
good.
really good.
It came out good.
It came out
It
good?
came out good.
Absolutely. Good
There
job,
you got
Rob.
I think it's all a thumbs up. We did good.
Woohoo.
As you can see, my parents successfully brewed a delicious batch of beer. So this brew kit was really great and worked out well for them. So I would recommend Craft a Brew, but there are a number of different brands that are out there that are also going to be pretty straightforward and easy to do. I'll leave a link for the beer kit that we used and the bottles that I ordered my parents in the description down below. Now, before I go, I want to give a huge shout out to the Patreons. Thank you guys so much for helping to support the channel. And if you, the viewer, would also like to support the channel so I can make more videos like this, I've got a link in the description below where you can join our neat community over on Patreon. Now, if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment below, and share it with any of your friends that you think would also find this video useful.